Hello, beautiful Black women. How are you? I thought I would invite you to my genius zone. You know me, I'll be going places in my own head. So today, Black women, I want to talk about um, white people and what they consider sacred as opposed to what we consider sacred. Okay, so I've been watching Tickety Talk. I try to spend a little bit of time, because they raw on there, just like nobody. They just say whatever floats through their little, you know, pathways out of their mouth, and they're telling you who they are. Normally, you have to match it with their behaviors, but we already know the history of white folks and their behavior. So I was watching Tickety Talk. These one was a white girl and somebody, and the other one's a white boy. One was in, I want to say one, the white girl was in Mexico, the white boy was in Niger in Africa, and both of them did the same fucking thing. They were told that they could come and experience a sacred ritual and spirituality, and no cell phones and mockery or things like that. Okay, no recordings, any of that shit. All right. Now both of these white people, both of them from America, but that don't matter because they do it no matter where they at. But anyway, both of these white folks, not related, probably don't know each other, went into sacred ceremonies by invite. I mean, they were welcomed in, but they were given rules. They were given boundaries by um, the indigenous peoples of that whole thing. So they both thought it was funny, made jokes, took pictures, did the most, and they'll get on an apology tour. Oh, I didn't realize that I had offended anyone. Um, Girl, the only thing that makes white people even a collective is their penchant for violence, lying, and stealing. So, okay, I know who you are. I mean, even though you try to make sure I didn't know my history as a Black woman, I do. Okay, and I definitely have studied y'all ass because you have made me your enemy as a Black woman. You and your ilk hunt us and our children, and we've done nothing to y'all asses. But okay, so let's get back to the sacred spaces. So the reason that these white folks think that it's funny or whatever, all the way over here in 2022, about to be 23, huh? Is because their churches are not sacred spiritual places for them. That's not their sacred spiritual places. It's been my decades of research and having worked with white folks and whatever. It's been my experience that the place that's sacred to white people is a courtroom. Now I want y'all to think about this. You can't come in their courtrooms nowhere and and uh go off, trip, take photos if they tell you don't. You can't have no videos if they tell you don't. You can't do none of that shit. Okay? None. Zero. Because you know what? That's a boundary to them. This is sacred to them. This is how they hold power. This is how they enforce laws. This is how they get to have a different type of slavery by putting people in jail and you know and using their work to do whatever. And that's not to say that those people shouldn't be in jail um, for whatever crime they committed. What I'm telling you is the larger system is set that way by white people in the US anyway. So, okay. So, if you come into a courtroom and you think you got some smart shit to say, I don't care if you are uh the Unabomber or whoever. You ever watch like the worst, most heinous fucking white person and that did the most heinous crimes, right? In the courtroom, you know what happens? So funny. They sit their asses still. They control themselves. So funny how they be arguing about, maybe, maybe they killed and ate all those people because, hey, they're an aberration. No, they not. They're just not smart at it. The rest of you in that courtroom as white people are smart at your mass murder and people eating. Okay? But what none of us are going to do is fuck with the sanctity of a courtroom. And if you cross any one of the boundaries in that courtroom, your ass is going to be, what's that? Contempt. And if you the motherfucking defendant, your ass is going to be dragged out of there. Okay? I wish you would. Everybody that tries to cross those boundaries, there's very few people. I don't care how heinous their fucking murder, who they bashed in the head, who they just like, I've been watching these different people and I just wanted to cook them in the. I don't care who the defendant is. They are not trying to act a fool in the sacred space that belongs to the white people in this country that they consider sacred. They got a lot of rules, regulations, and shit to where you can sit, who you can be with, who you can this. If I tell you don't do this shit, you had better not. They have a lot, and you better follow the fucking rules. However, they don't have a connection, most of them, like that is spiritual, okay, when it comes to their churches. Their churches are there to provide them with a means to act in these heinous ways, to be violent, to be brutal, to destroy and destruct humans. They don't give a fuck about children. They have none of that. None of that is there for them. It's just not, okay? For most of them, okay? So what I'm telling you is they go to church they don't go to church to be convicted of their badass fucking choices and behaviors. They don't go to church to atone. They do not go to church to take responsibility or accountability for a fucking thing. They go to church so they can pay a certain amount of money to get whatever the fuck they did to whoever wiped away. Because the biggest thing is to ensure the sanctity of whiteness and white privilege. Now, y'all can make excuses for them all you want to, but the reason they don't give a fuck when they go to other people's countries, especially those of color or black, about our rituals and what we do, why they try to make it seem savage or whatever, is because they don't have a connection spiritually. Okay, they're not a culture. All right. Okay. They don't care about spirituality or y'all connection or my connection or none of that shit. They don't care about me. They don't care about Black women and our children. They don't care about our girls. Okay, it's not even plugged in. That could be it. Because I wasn't sure why y'all didn't hear me though. I really wasn't. But anyway, yeah, I was thinking about that today and I was like, wow, y'all, because I see our reactions. Like sometimes I'll watch Jenny O and like what's that? Cindy Villa. Sometimes I watch them, right? Because they do the TikTok stitches and like I can't be sitting there watching TikTok on TikTok all day because but I see people's responses to things, you know, and it's just interesting to me how we have been living amongst these people for all this time and we know exactly who they are. We know what they will do to us. We know what they will do to other people, but um we haven't really, and this is specifically Black women because you know I don't talk to Black men, but anyway, um we haven't as Black women decided that we are not going to put up with any type of dissension or bullshit over here in the centering Black women, Black girls camp. See, you have, when you decide that you're going to have boundaries, I've said this before, you actually have to couple it with consequences that you're willing to carry out. So let's say, again, I'm going to use this extreme example. Let's say somebody goes and spits in my face. Okay. The consequence to that shit is no one's going to save you. Allegedly. I'm not going to see you anymore. I'm going to shed my humanity and I'm going to fuck you up. I've been known to concuss a bitch. So I'm just saying, allegedly. Okay. This is what I mean by pairing boundaries with consequences that you are willing to say, if you cross this line, because I can guarantee you this thing, just because you have a boundary as a Black woman or a Black girl doesn't mean people aren't going to cross the line. Oh, they're going to cross the line because they haven't changed their behavior just because you told them what you want and what you need to have happen where you're concerned. When they cross the line, in my case, I'm waiting on the other side of that fucking line. Because I'm damn sure going to give you the consequence. That's for real. That's for real. For real, for real. It was funny. I frequent Themis and Thoth. And it was funny. I think this was last year. He said so. I was cracking me fuck up. He said, I don't know what he was talking about, but he said something to the effect that if somebody does that, whatever he was talking about, if that person did that to him, he would sue their whole lineage. I was like, yes, right there. See, it doesn't have to be just one type of consequence. It could be several consequences to passing, you know, to crossing the boundary that you came up with, right? So when he said that, girl, I don't have good sense. I'm here. I'm thinking. I'm like, I gotta call people. They must say if I do something, he's going to what? Everybody else knows this. Guess what? I'm gonna see your whole energy. I started calling my daughter. I'm like, oh, get to the Cayman Islands. Move that shit because he goes to the cat, the dog. Girl, I love that. I love that shit. That was like the perfect answer as a consequence to someone crossing your boundaries. Perfect. So you can choose what the consequences are going to be, you know, but you need to be able to articulate your boundaries. I don't care if you write them out. Girl, I started out with one or two as a younger Black woman. Now I got so many I can't even count. Okay. Why am I holding this mic? It's not okay. Um, so that's really the crux of it. And I say watch people's behavior. Okay, I'm gonna give you a huge secret about behaviors. You are not going to change anyone's behavior. You may give them information, you can tell them what you need, and you should. Okay? That you absolutely should, because that's the part you need to play. And you're not going to change that other person's behavior by, just because you told them something that made logical sense, or you expressed how it harmed, or any of that stuff. Okay? Because people have to decide to practice a behavior over time in order for it to stick. So the other person that you're talking to, they have to decide in their minds, okay, so I hurt her. So what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to ask her to trust me or anything. What I'm going to ask is that she just clock my behaviors. And if I cross that line again, I understand that I am gonna receive whatever consequence she has in mind for me. And that's how it works. So when we're talking about, let's say white people or whatever, or white women, we are talking about a group of people that was extraordinarily violent before they left Europe. In fact, America is really, along with Australia, supposed to be a penal colony. So Europe could clean out its insane asylums, riffraff, whoever, to become the new slave owners. So is it any wonder that these people would do whatever? And while we're sitting here trying to figure out, why is there still racism in 2022, almost 2023? Because it's being taught in our schools. It's being it's being made into policies and laws. And when you go into their sacred space, the courtroom, they're enforcing the rules and laws and boundaries that they made up. But the good news is, Black women, I know you might not believe this right now, but I promise it's true. The good news is you get to make up boundaries, policies, standards, and laws too, to how people operate with Black women and Black girls. So when I say I'm going to hold Black women and Black girls sacred, protected, and uplifted, I mean that. And if you cross a disrespectful motherfucking line, I'm going to come for you. Because for me, you came at Black women and Black girls. That simple. I'm not in community with Black men. They're not in community with me. They have shown over decades and centuries in just this country that they don't give a fuck about Black women, Black girls, or Black children in general. They do not. All those statistics, they're not just statistics. They're not just numbers. Those are people's real motherfucking lives. But y'all want to tell me that when you have a sacred space, when you got something to say, when you feel a certain way, I need to bend the knee, even when it's to my detriment, um, because both of these collectives, Black men, white folks, especially white women, are fucking violent. Black men, you kill other Black men 25 times every day. The police violence across the United States doesn't come close to that. The police violence that ends in the death of Black people doesn't come close to that every year. You kill 25 of yourself every day. And if that's not enough, you walk out of the homes of your children and you never look back or sideways. Because when you're grown, you make decisions. And a lot of Black men choose to not have anything to do with their children. On the other hand, there's a lot of Black women who choose their children. And children aren't some like pair of shoes or some shit. Sorry, sirs out there. Listen, they're actual humans who are completely dependent on us. So you don't just walk away from your children, you walk away from Black women in their most vulnerable points as mothers, whether they're pregnant or whether they're even married to you or whether they are single and you walked out that way. You walked out. Your daddy walked out before you. Your granddaddy too. Your great granddaddy and his daddy too. It's just a behavioral pattern for y'all. And it doesn't matter what we say as Black women because you don't consider us sacred. So you don't give a fuck how much we tell you you are hurting us because you are literally murdering us every 5 hours now, a day. And if we're a Black woman who is a trans Black woman or a pregnant Black woman, you're 8 times more likely, Black men, to murder them. You don't care if the pregnancy is a girl child, a boy child. You even have the inhuman audacity to record yourself killing the mothers of your children in front of your fucking children. And you want me to do what? You don't hold me sacred. You don't hold me protected. You don't hold me uplifted. But you want me to take everything that I've had to do when you chose to leave, and everything Black women have had to do, be accountable and responsible for other human beings, creating those human beings in our bodies, having to go into a health system that, while most of us are hardworking, working 2 jobs, whatever, and we provide our own health insurance, we die 4 times more than white women who have a high school diploma or less when we have college degrees. So you can't even say that we're uneducated. In fact, you hate our education. You don't give not nary fuck about the life of Black women, Black girls, or Black children in general. You do not. And when you grow into young men, it doesn't matter across this country who your mama was. You choose patriarchy, and you choose your attempts to gain white privilege. And you don't give a fuck who you gotta kill to do it. You don't care who you got to abandon. You don't give a fuck who you have to impoverish. Sorry. You don't give a fuck. You don't know about Black femicide because you don't give a fuck. You don't know what your children are going through every single day, how they're experiencing the world around them, how they maneuver through that world, what they eat, what their favorite fucking color is, favorite movie. You don't know shit about that. You have no idea if they shots are caught up. Do they have any medical issues? You don't know. You know why you don't know? Because you choose not to know because you don't give a fuck. But girl, wait, hold on. Okay, let me get it right. I don't give a fuck about you either. Now, you come on here, oh, this woman's so disrespectful, this and that. Yeah, and what's your point? Oh, she's just an angry Black woman. And see, I get to have feelings. But the difference between me and you motherfuckers and Black women and you motherfuckers is that I have had therapy. I have been educated and continue to educate myself. I have worked on my own badass behaviors. There's some I still have because I love them. And there's a lot that I got rid of because it was impeding me from being a resource to my children, to my family, to the people I love, to the children I take care of as an RN, to all of it was impeding it. See, I had to unzip my own skin and look at the bloody pulp beneath because I understand from being educated and being able to read and let me think, comprehend that I can change me. But that's really what y'all are afraid of. Because you're not about to get off your ass and change you. You not. You haven't. You had hundreds of years and you haven't. Because you don't care. You believe the fucking fairy tales in your Bible that that white boy, what his name? He was Jewish. No, he wasn't white. He was Jewish, Hebrew, sorry. Paul, who wasn't ever married. It's like like he's a manosphere motherfucker of today. Okay, he was a red pill motherfucker, not married, don't have long-term relationships because you haven't learn how to communicate. You haven't learned how to listen, and you damn sure are not about to take responsibility or accountability. But you want to fuck with my good name. That's what you want to do. You want to fuck with black women's good name? Well, guess what, motherfuckers? The answer to that is fuck no. No. Nope. We not gonna do it. Mm-mm. No, ma'am. That's not what we doing. We're not. So for black women, my message today is kind of similar to a lot of, in the end, my messages. That you have the capabilities within yourself to build infrastructure, to build a healthcare system that benefits black women and black girls. You hold on. Wait a second. Hold on, people. Wait a second. 1 minute. No, 2 minutes. Hold on. Hold on. I'm here. Okay. Nene, that's enough. I'm yelling at my dog because she's screaming. Okay. I think I got you back. But, it comes down to the same thing again, that you get to create boundaries as black women, and you also need to have consequences for when people cross those lines. I think there's a few things that we need to get together as black women and have a think tank. I don't think that we need to all agree on whatever. I don't think that we're going to all come up with the same solution, which is a good thing because we need different solutions for different parts of our cultural concern, right? I don't need to like you, you don't need to like me, but yeah, we have a common theme going on for us, and that is we can walk out or be in our homes and be murdered because people don't hold us sacred. So it's important that we understand we're not going to change their minds and we're not going to make them do it. Okay. But we, as God is born, we know very well we can do all this shit for ourselves. One of the things we're going to have to commit to is to stop trying to appeal to people who don't care. I'm not talking about what they say. I'm not talking about how they get a mic or whatever. I got a mic. Okay. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about their behavior and the effects of that behavior on you and our children. When we talk about the black community, we are not talking about black women, black girls, or black children. We are talking about black men. Because in the patriarchal system we live in, because they have a appendage that like doesn't have any creative ability other than to let go of semen, uh they're supposed to lead. What in this world indicates that they should be leading anything when they can't even make a humane choice to be in their own children's lives? And for the 20% of black men out there who say you're good, ooh, I don't want to hear that shit. Because you don't care either. because your 20% of your asses ain't out there trying to um, protect and create a militia for black women. You ain't writing no policies, procedures, stamps because you don't know how to protect black women and black girls, black children. You don't even care what this healthcare system is doing to us. But see, we as black women, we have to care because it's us that has to take our children to the doctor. It's us that has to fight the fucking racism. It's us that has to go off. And then we turn around and we got white folks over here telling us that, oh, you're just angry and such and so. Well, you just motherfucking violent and brutish. And what's your point? The difference again between me and you is that I can manage my emotions. I can put some work in and change my fucking behavior. I can choose between compassion, kindness, or wrath and violence too. Somehow you don't believe that shit. But despite what you believe, as black men or white folks or Asian, whoever the fuck you are, I'm telling you, keep black women's name out of your mouth. I get that you don't care, black women. I know some of us don't get that they don't care. We're having a really hard time, being able to accept the truth of the matter. And as we do, right, we are going to need to have space and time to heal, to just be about ourselves. I know it's natural to us to be givers, taking care of the family, taking care of the fucking society, taking care of a bunch of people who let us know every single day on all kinds of platforms and in everyday life that they hate us. We even have compassion for them. You get to choose compassion or you get to choose fucking war, black women. Okay? Either way, we all have a common um we all have a common threat to our lives. Actually, it's several. So we're gonna have to get off of what black men think or don't think or whatever. You know, we are gonna have to only be watching them or whoever so that we understand how they move and how to protect ourselves. Because they have shown us time and again, decade after decade, century after fucking century. It goes back further than that. I won't take you there today. Okay? We know they don't care. We just hate to believe it. The dream is better than the reality, and we hate to believe it. But in our unwillingness to call a thing, it is leaving us open to be easy prey and targets. And another thing that we're going to have to really work on is ensuring that our daughters are not easy prey and targets. That our daughters don't get SA or DV because they understand that their worth is beyond compare and that they get to protect themselves. We are going to need to give them the tools to protect themselves. That's going to be education. That's going to be learning about their history so they can see themselves, right? That's going to be learning about other people's history so they know who they're dealing with, and being really open and honest about when their fathers have walked out. It is not their fault. It is not their problem. Their father was just an idiot. There's a whole bunch of them in the United States. But like I told my daughter when she was going through her time, right? Growing up, I don't care that motherfucker is here, not here, whatever. I'm here. He's stupid because he's missing out on the greatest, um, most creative, um, beautiful, and brilliant daughter in the world. That's just stupid. And as she's grown up, she's come to understand that a lot of the quote unquote children who had fathers actually didn't. They weren't. They didn't. And if they did, they were catching hell in their households. And she didn't. Oh, she did catch hell. Well, she did catch hell from me because yeah, you're gonna get cultivated here, baby. But ain't no man coming in and disciplining her ever. And I told her from very young, you are not going to be, you're not going to bow to nobody. Okay. Yes, you're going to learn to have a reverence for me because I'm paying the cost to dedicate myself to you. But we're not even going to entertain that nigga. We got better things to do with our time than to fool with dumbasses. It is not her fault that her sperm donor is an ignorant ass motherfucker. It is not. What that boy name is? Hold on. Damn, it's been so long. Ross. Ooh, I can't remember. Ross. It'll come to me. Okay, whatever her sperm donor. Girl. Fuck him. I told her the truth. I told her the truth about my badass behavior. Well, she's there watching me. So she gets it. So now, I put her in martial arts, and I'm the head of her security, as we all know, right? But we have to give them the tools. We have to give our girls the tools to be able to defend themselves, and we have to be able to protect our homes and our children, and go and get permits for carrying handguns, and go to the expert classes with licensed people. There are quite a few Black women who are starting to do this type of training. I'm not one of them, but they're out there, like Chicks with Triggers, like just so you can learn about a hand, obtaining different permits and being able to carry. And then you can find ranges in which children can come, and you can teach them how to shoot. Because I'm going to tell you right now, it's a whole bunch of white women and they children at these ranges that I go to, indoor and out, shooting with their kids, little kids. So we are going to have to take that very seriously. So we don't have time to be fucking with people who fucking don't care and plot and plan our murders. Literally. They don't care. So, you know, they expect for you to um, have an awe for the sanctity of their sacred place, the courtroom, as white people. Black men expect you to have an awe for their sanctity of being able to be in a pulpit or some shit, or a deacon, which I still don't get. What the fuck do y'all do? I know what the mothers of the church do. I know what deaconesses do. I know what the accounting does. I know like 80% of the people at black churches are black women, but what do deacons do? Somebody put that in the chat. No, please don't. I don't care. I don't give a fuck what deacons do. All right. I love you guys. That's my spiel for the day. And I hope you're having a great one, It's Thursday, right? So let's get it popping. Love you. Mwah.